Hey everybody, hey, can you see me out there? Thank you very much for joining the stream today. Hope everyone is doing all right. But yeah, let's just get right down to business. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody who jumps on the stream today, who likes this, who shares this with other people so we can spread the message from outside of the two-party system. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Chase Oliver, and I want to be your candidate for governor this November on the ballot here in the state of Georgia. I want to provide an alternative choice to the two-party BS that we keep seeing election after election after election here in Georgia and across the nation. I've run for Congress, for U.S. Senate, and most recently for U.S. President in 2024 as the standard bearer for the Libertarian Party. And I want to continue to be spreading the message of limited government, accountability, and returning the power back to each and every individual and taking that power out of the hands of a government that would use and abuse your rights. So, yeah, that's just in general, just a little bit about me. Thank you guys for joining. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what it's going to take to get this campaign to the ballot in November, as well as kind of go over a little bit of my platform. So, firstly, we have to get on the ballot. So, to do that, we have to collect a lot of signatures. And it's not just for me, it's for actually every libertarian candidate who's running statewide in the state of Georgia. We are running, all of us together, to try to get enough signatures so that our political party is recognized as a political body and we regain ballot access in the state for statewide races. And so if you were to sign a petition for me, you're not just helping me, you're helping our candidates for Secretary of State or for Labor Commissioner or for Public Service Commission or for a whole number of other statewide races that we really need your help in getting people on the ballot. So again, supporting this signature drive is not just supporting Chase Oliver for governor, but it's supporting libertarians across the spectrum and across the state of Georgia to get on the ballot this November so each and every race can be a competitive race with more than two choices on the ballot in the state of Georgia. So that being said, we need your help. If you are in the state of Georgia, we need your help to get out there and canvass and collect signatures, or if you can travel to Georgia, we'd love to have you. That's what we're needing, is people who are willing to get out and get in the streets, meet their neighbors, meet their community, and get those signatures on the page, because we need 78,000 some odd signatures by the middle of July. And if you've ever been a petition gatherer, if you've ever gotten signatures, you know that is a large, large number. But it may seem daunting right now, but we're going to do our best to get what we need to get ourselves on the ballot. And we're going to fight every single day right up until that deadline to get as many signatures as possible, because absent getting the number we need, we're going to see what we can do to try to fight against this unjust ballot access laws as they exist. But to do that, we have to put every ounce of effort that we can into getting as many signatures as we can. And so with that, I'm going to start spending weekends, as many as possible, out and about the state. And you'll start to see on the website that I'm going to show you in just a little bit, events that will start popping up on our calendar, both in and around the metro Atlanta area where I live, as well as other parts of the state as it takes a little bit of time. So, and so I hope you guys can feel encouraged if you see me out there with a clipboard in hand, that you too can also help in this process. When I was running for president, I traveled all over the country and participated in ballot access drives to help the Libertarian Party have a choice for president in 2024. And we got on 47 state ballots. There are a few that were just out of reach. But what we want to do here in the state of Georgia is make sure that not just me, but everyone in every statewide race has a libertarian option as much as possible. So with that, I see things like here, 78,000 signatures. That's a crock of crap. I agree. That's a lot. That's more than what we should be having to collect, I think. Isn't it BS that we have to get so many signatures to get someone on a ballot? Yes. Because when you think about it, the Democrats and Republicans don't have to do that. Not only do they not have to, if you're just thinking about dollars and cents, even if you're spending between $5 and $10 per signature, that is, that's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars you would need to gather all of the signatures with paid petitioners. Now, not only do the Republicans and Democrats not have that threshold at all, they don't have to reach that threshold. They also get taxpayer-funded primaries that give them the opportunity to get in the media spotlight, into primary debates, all sorts of things that third-party independent voices, alternative voices, just are not afforded in the state of Georgia. So you're right. It is BS. It is a crock of crap, and it is backwards. But we have to keep pressing on and keep fighting. So that way the people in power know that the voters are sick and tired of being sick and tired of this nonsense. And so that's why I'm putting myself forward. I know it's an uphill battle. I know it's going to be a struggle. But you know what? When push comes to shove, good people have to stand up and fight for good things. And I think the spirit of liberty, and I think the idea that we should have more than two choices on a ballot is worth fighting for. And I really think even if you're not a libertarian, you should be fighting to see more choices on your ballot. It allows for a diversity of opinion. It allows for new ideas to be brought onto the debate stage or into the idea of politics and the Overton window moving in that direction. And I think there's a benefit, even if you're not a strict libertarian, to having more than two choices on the ballot in November. I think it benefits actually even the Democrats and Republicans because it will keep their parties honest and keep them responsive to the will of their voters. Far too often, the Democrat and Republican parties are just lazy in whatever state they're in, particularly if it is a safe red or a safe blue state. Luckily, Georgia can be a bit purple. So we have a little bit more competitiveness. But really, even then, within the party structures themselves, many times they're rotten to the core, and we need to have outside voices holding them accountable. One of the biggest things, for instance, in 2024, I ran on a strict ending wars platform. I've been an anti-war activist for a long time, and I got to push that narrative out there as a candidate for president when we had two candidates, the Republican and the Democrat, both of which were supporting the war in Gaza, and ultimately were supporting the idea that America can just push its weight around the world using bully diplomacy. And so for me, I think it was really important for us to have anti-war voices in that election cycle. Both myself, the Green Party, and others were speaking out against these wars. And I think it was important to give those voters that choice. And I want to give voters an alternative choice in 2028, or rather 2026, Freudian slip, no, 2026 in the state of Georgia, and see what we can do to really spread the message of liberty. So I am going to show you a little bit of the website here. I'm going to get off this face. You're going to see me without the beard for a minute. Don't be afraid. We will start having photos of me in the campaign with the beard. I have people who say that I would have won another 100,000 votes if I had just kept this thing through the campaign last time. We're going to test that theory. So let me just go ahead and share my screen here. This is a little hard to do because I only have one monitor, but we're going to share a lovely Chrome tab right there. There it is. Oh my goodness, me without the beard. Go away. But this is the homepage, chaseforliberty.com. It's where you can, if you want to go ahead and sign up, you can sign up and get interested. We will be having events. Like I said, events are going to start popping up in this calendar. I'm going to tell you about the first event I'm doing this weekend. It's not even on the website yet, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. You can sign up to get involved. Maybe you don't have the ability to donate money, which we do appreciate any and every donation, but we also appreciate those who want to volunteer. Right now, the biggest volunteering opportunity is canvassing, but we have lots of other areas where if you're interested, you can sign up and our campaign staff will be getting around to you. By the way, we're a volunteer campaign staff. We are running lean and mean. And so here's a great time for me to start saying thank you again to all of my campaign volunteers and staff who are kicking butt and taking names, who put this website together. And we're really running as lean as we can because we want to put as much focus on being able to get out there and get these signatures and get our name out there. And so that's where the majority of your donations, if you want to donate, you can go right here to the donate tab. If you want to do that, you can donate. We really appreciate every amount that comes in because that's going to allow us, again, to not just get me out there, but also get paid petitioners out across the state to try to get this across the finish line. Well, let's talk a little bit about what this campaign platform is, right? Let's talk a little bit about what it is that we are going to see. A beardless Chase is quite jarring, says Michael the Libertarian. I agree, it is. Who'd have thunk? But let's take a look at the platform here. What do I stand for? Well, first and foremost, I think we got to talk about the things that matter the most to the voters. That's cost of living. That's affordability. And what am I going to do? Well, if I'm elected governor, I want to phase out the state income tax. I want to put your money back in your pocket by cutting wasteful spending, corporate welfare, and getting our state government down to size where we can fully eliminate the state income tax. Our neighbors to the north in Tennessee, our neighbors to the south in Florida, both do not have a state income tax. And I think they're better for that in the state, because you should not be punished for the amount of income you earn, the amount of living you earn for yourself. That is not something that should be punished, and we should get rid of the income tax. Also, we want to eliminate the property tax trap, reforming the homestead valuation so that no Georgian is priced out of their own home by rising assessments. I have seen this in my very own life with my parents. They live in a beautiful area of the state called Houston, Georgia. They moved in a few years ago. Nothing was there. And now property taxes are through the roof as the area is being developed. And it is unsustainable for far too many Georgians who are just trying to pay their mortgage, just trying to pay their rent. They don't need Uncle Sam to be abusing them. So we need to definitely reform this system so that we're not seeing good Georgians being thrown out of their homes. And of course, ending corporate subsidies. I don't believe in taking money out of your pocket to pick winners and losers in the marketplace. I don't believe that's the best way to be running a government. I certainly don't think it's the best way to be spending your money. I think you can spend your money far better than I can. And so we want to get rid of these corporate subsidies and truly have a free market of competition here in the state of Georgia, and quit picking those winners and losers. In the areas of labor and entrepreneurship, the right to work should be more than just union policy. It should mean the freedom to start a business without a mountain of red tape. That's what we see far too often when people want to break free, start their own business, become their own boss. They get mowed down by regulation and red tape and a bunch of BS. So we want to sunset all licenses. We'll audit every occupational license, and if it doesn't protect life and limb, gone. It's repealed. We don't need to be in the business of protecting people from things that don't need protecting from. And certainly if it doesn't protect life and limb, there's no need to have licensure for it. Universal license recognition. Now, if you're qualified to work in another state, you should be qualified to work in Georgia. We'll recognize all out-of-state professional licensures on day one. This will get many people to work immediately if they want to come into our state and be their best and do their best and start their own business or start their own practice. This will immediately streamline that process and invite a lot of people to come to the great state of Georgia to get to work and provide great services and businesses and goods for the people of Georgia. The shot clock guarantee. Agencies must approve or deny permits within 30 days. If they fail to act, the permit will automatically be granted. Why do we need this? Because we don't need to be holding people up and holding them hostage through boards and bureaucrats. If they, want to build a shed, or if they want to do, participate in a project that requires permitting, we're not going to hold those up. And here's the truth. If there are so many permits out there that they're being held up because there's just not the ability to work through them all, that means we have far too many permits. We have a far too broad permitting system, and we're going to reform that too. Justice and personal liberty. If you guys know me, this is one that's personally close to my heart. Georgia has the highest probation rate in America, and it's time for us to end that. End the probation trap. We'll cap supervision terms and eliminate this predatory pay-only probation fees that basically just criminalize poverty in the state of Georgia and keeps you in this constant revolving door of the justice system. We want to legalize victimless conduct, such as ending the prohibition of marijuana and other victimless offenses in the state of Georgia, so we can put police to work on actually protecting our citizens, protecting our communities with crimes that actually have victims. And of course, we want to hold police accountable by ending qualified immunity in the state of Georgia, basically holding the police to the same legal standards as any other citizen in the state of Georgia, and basically saying that you have to do the job correctly or hold yourself legally liable. I think these are common sense justice and justice proposals that can help our state really focus ourselves on protecting communities, at the same time respecting people's rights to not be abused by the probation trap here in the state of Georgia. So let's see. I'm converting a shed into something livable, and I haven't once applied for permits yet. That's great. And, God bless you. But hopefully the state doesn't come down on you, sir, because in too many states, you will get the bull end of the hammer. Let me see here. Education in the future. So, of course, I've always been believing in school choice, decentralizing education, and returning that power back to parents and students to choose the best school for them. If we're going to fund schools, it should be funding the student, not the system. Just directly allocate that money to families for them to pick the school system that works best for them. When we do this, hey, if there's a public school system that works great, people will keep funding it. But if you're in an area with really bad schools, This will encourage education entrepreneurs to come and start private and nonprofit alternatives in your neighborhood that will create better education outcomes for your kids, for your grandkids, and for the kids in your community. This is something that is really near and dear to my heart because far too many kids get stuck in terrible schools as a matter of where their zip code is. And I think we can do better than that. So if we are gonna, if we're gonna fund schools, then we should fund the system, the school system, or the school student, not the school system. Healthcare access. Healthcare costs are skyrocketing. We want to repeal certificate of need laws in the state of Georgia. These laws have prevented hospitals and clinics opening across the state, particularly in rural areas, which would actually lower the cost. What these are is basically asking government to get a permission slip to compete in the marketplace. We believe the free market can make those determinations and ultimately provide the best services for the lowest cost through efficiencies. I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, actually bringing marketplace practices to the healthcare space will improve outcomes, as opposed to what we've seen time and time again. The answer from the Republicans and the Democrats is more and more and more government getting itself involved. I think we can do better. And then we want to protect the right without mandates or interference. No vaccine mandates, no interference by the state of Georgia. You own your own life, and you can own your own health and do what's best. You don't need a government official telling you what your family doctor can tell you. So I would put far more trust in my local doctor than I would some bureaucrat in Atlanta. Certainly not your elected official. So lastly, I want to implement. Well, not lastly, I have two. Voting and ballot access. We want to support ranked choice voting in the state of Georgia. Right now, we have runoffs. Runoffs are expensive. They're still better than first past the post elections, but we can actually have instant runoffs by supporting ranked choice voting. This would, it would create a space for third party and alternative voices to really have more of an impact in these elections. It would have the major parties coming to these third party and independents and saying, okay, here's why I want to be your second choice on the ballot, yada, yada, yada. It will allow us to really put more impact per voter into the process if we implemented ranked choice voting across the state. And of course, we want to reduce the ballot access hurdles that make it so hard to get any independent choice on the ballot to begin with. It's a rigged game. I trust Dollar Store Lobster more than my local politician. Amen. But the truth is we need to have fair ballot access so more choices can get on the ballot. We're fighting this fight right now. It's a rigged fight. It's an uphill battle. And if I'm elected, we're going to change that across the state of Georgia. And we're going to fight for that all through this election process. And lastly, agricultural independence. We need to be talking to rural Georgians out there. We want to protect family farmland by expanding property tax protections to ensure family acreage isn't taxed at developer rates, preventing generational farms from being forced into urban sprawl. And we support the right to repair without being forced into monopolies that drive up maintenance costs. So these are just some of the policies that I will be supporting as a candidate for governor. But again, to do that, we need your help. We need you to donate. We need you to get involved and become a volunteer and help us fight for a better choice across the state of Georgia. So if you've made it in this far, I get to tell you about where I'm going this weekend. So I'm going to one of my favorite places in the state of Georgia. I will be heading to the Beltline. And if you've never been to the Atlanta Beltline, it's a huge thing. I'll be in a section of the Beltline. I won't be walking the whole thing. But I'm going to be in the Beltline near Krog Street Market. I'm out there gathering signatures. So if you see me maybe around Emerald City Bagel in that area, I will be there gathering signatures this week. And if you want to join me, I will be there Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. And heading to Krog Street Market to grab some food afterwards. So if you guys come on out, love to have you help me collect signatures. And then also join me for some good food at Krog Street Market. I'm a big fan of Fred's Meat and Bread or Goo's Dumplings, but there's plenty of delicious things to eat in the area. But we want to get some signatures first. So join me this Sunday, the Atlanta Beltline near Krog Street Market from 2 to 5 p.m. So again, from 2 to 5, join me at Krog Street Market or the Beltline area around Krog Street Market. I will be wearing a libertarian-ish shirt of some kind. You will see this beautiful bearded face out there. If you see a guy with a clipboard asking people to sign things, you know where I'm at. And then as the coming weeks come on, we're going to have more formalized events, not just in the metro Atlanta area, but across the state. So stay tuned for that. There is an event calendar on the website as well. So yeah, just keep visiting back regularly, checking it out. And if you have any comments, you can always send us a message, send an email to the campaign. If you have any leads for media contacts or anything like that, contact our volunteer staff. We would love to have your help. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. But do we have any way to gather online signatures? Unfortunately, we do not. Georgia is a state that requires in-person signatures that then have to get notarized. How can we help your campaign? You can go to chaseforliberty.com. You can donate, Joe. If you want to donate, that will help us get professional paid petitioners on the ground across the state. Also, if you want to travel up here and volunteer, you can become a campaign volunteer, even if it just means making phone calls, helping out with social media, helping out in the behind the scenes. You can go to chaseforliberty.com, click the Get Involved tab, and volunteer. And whatever way you want, we'll be in touch as quick as we can to try to get you and others on board. But yes, we need your help. So yeah, that is. But unfortunately, as Cody was asking, there is no way to gather online signatures. It does not exist. We have to do this in person the hard way. They like to make it as difficult as possible to get somebody on the ballot. So we're just going to have to put in the old-fashioned elbow grease, get out there among the people, and do the work. Are yard signs available or other merch? Not right now. Right now, we are just trying to focus until at least July, really, into focusing on getting out there and getting signatures. We might have some merch coming out. It will be very limited. The best way to support the campaign, honestly, is right now just to straight up donate. But we might have some merch available if you're wanting to buy something to support the campaign. Yard signs, we're really not even focusing on that until we actually can see ourselves on the ballot. There's no point in putting a yard sign in your yard unless my name's going to be on your ballot in November. So we are really focusing our resources on signature gathering events, doing any media that we can to spread the word and to those effects. Maybe if we do get enough donations, maybe we've grown up, but we are trying to be as lean as we can be, recognizing we have limited resources at this time. Yes, I will actually be. Will you be doing any news appearances? I will. We're actually scheduling some right now. I know I'll be appearing on WABE, I believe, later this month. But if you have any media contacts, if you know anybody that would be willing to listen to us, podcasts, particularly if they're Georgia focused or Georgia located, media, newspapers, radio, I'm willing to jump on just about anywhere if I can get the time to do it. So again, you can get involved at chaseforliberty.com. You can contact our comms team under the contact tab or the media team. We'd be happy to see what's available out there. So yeah, that being said, if there's any questions here at the end, I'd be happy to take them. But otherwise, I'm just going to say I'm excited to get out there this weekend, to start collecting signatures in person myself, and to hopefully see folks across the state get out there, not just, again, to help me, but to help libertarians across the state as statewide candidates. So I'm very excited for this. And I hope we can push this enthusiasm forward, get the signatures we need by the middle of July. And if not, keep fighting the good fight, either on or off the ballot. But we need to get this fight going. So do any universities have Students for Liberty chapters? They might be able to help you out. Well, I would love to work with them. If anybody has any ends with Students for Liberty, happy to meet with them, see if they want to get out there and try to provide a libertarian voice in the ballot that will hold both the Republican and Democrat honest in the November ballot. We do have runoffs, so I think it would be actually good for them to maybe look into bring more choices in, but that's a great idea. Thank you, Chase. Let's make this happen. Yeah, let's make it happen. That's what I want to do. I want to get out there and see what we can do to provide that alternative. If I can make it happen, I'm going to. If not, I'm going to get really tired and put in a lot of effort for it, no matter what. So I hope you guys can join me. And again, we will have these live streams every week. Normally, I know it's Thursday. Normally, this will be on a Wednesday night. Wednesday night at 9 p.m. is when we're going to have our weekly live stream. And then if you do join the campaign, we're going to start having our informal campaign meetings on Wednesdays as well. So if you're free on Wednesdays, we'd love to have you come in and chat with us and be part of the campaign group. But if not, if you just want to hang out, see us Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. But that being said, I'm going to let you guys have a great night and get back to living my life and getting ready to get out in the belt line this weekend and getting those signatures. Peace, love, and liberty to each person out there. And thank you very much for joining me on the stream tonight. Bye.